Welcome, everybody. Today's topic is about opening and closing deals, and in relation to sales, in relation to marketing, and in relation to money, and in relation to exchange. So, those of you who don't know, the way Limitless Legion was formed was I woke up and I thought, I want to start connecting with more people and providing more value and reaching out to more people and I'd like to use this Google Hangout platform to discuss some topics. So maybe I'll start doing some Hangouts once in a while and training and offering that on Facebook. And so I decided to do that. So I put a post out there and I thought, yeah, I'll probably get a few responses. And the post was, hey guys, if I were to teach you anything and assist you in any breakthrough you wanted, what would it be? List your topics here. And so I got I don't remember how many comments, but I was blown away. It's just like my feed was blowing up. Everyone's like, oh, this, that, this, that, this, that. I'm like, wow, okay. Obviously a desire here in the marketplace. And so with some guidance from one of my marketing advisors, he's like, well, dude, I know how to do these Facebook group things, and we could combine this, and then we could create, rather than just offering this to the public, you could create this Facebook group, and then we could do this cool thing and offer the trainings in there. I'm like, yeah, I like that, because I've been a part of forums and things like that in the past where we were really able to move forward as a community a lot quicker together in a powerful environment that was collaborative and supportive and open and honest and had some basic ground rules around that stuff that made all the difference in the world. So I was like, yeah, let's do that. And so I took the list, and it was either myself or my assistant, we made a list of all the topics. I think I reached out to my assistant. I said, hey, will you list all the topics in order that everyone requested on that post? And so she did, and then she forwarded it over to me, and I saved it. And that's how I keep myself on track each week as to what I'm teaching. So the point of all that is kind of a funny side note. The guy who asked for, he said, opening and closing deals is what he asked for. And I assumed in my mind that he meant sales training. And that's what I'm going to give today, is sales training, because that's what I most want to talk about. But I want to speak to a minute about what he was actually looking for. I think he had watched a video of mine where I was talking about the importance of completions and the value and importance of finishing the things that we start. And so when he heard, opening and closing deals, he thought, closing down completing old things, as well as, opening up conversations for new businesses and new opportunities and things like that. So probably what he was really looking for was how do I get the confidence to, start new things, and then secondly, how do I finish things that I've started and declare them complete so that I can free up that energy and move forward in a positive way. So just wanted to bring clarity around that. But the topic, aside from that, that's about all I have to say about that right now. And the topic I really want to cover today is the importance of exchange and demystifying some of the myths around sales and marketing, and then empowering you guys on the ability to do that and the importance of doing that. And I want you, of course, I'm always taking things to a deeper level and looking at it spiritually and then financially and mentally and emotionally and all these aspects, 360-degree view, because I'm crazy like that, and so are you. That's why you're here. So, yeah, holistic approach. So, I recorded a video earlier this year that I called, well, I don't know what I called it, but the main topic was sales is potentially the most, what was the word? The most virtuous thing you can possibly do. I think that's what I named the video. That was like my topic and headline. Sales is the most virtuous thing you could possibly do. And here's my premise. My premise is that if everyone were doing what they love to do, we would have world peace. And in every form of Scripture, it's said in one way or another, don't hide your light under a bushel, shine it from the mountaintops. Right? And everything that we've discovered everywhere talks all about service, service, service. Now, so what does all this have to do with cells, and why do we have such a bad taste in our mouth in relation to cells? And the reason why is because people have become good at cells, but not good at giving a shit about others, not good at loving themselves, not good at having impeccable integrity. And so they've learned to, manipulate their words and their strategies and their techniques to get you backed into a corner, to get you to make a move, to purchase something that assists them, but doesn't necessarily give you a line with your highest and best. And so every time we've allowed that to happen, because what we tend to do is view ourselves as victims to that. So I say we allowed that to happen. Like, I used to go around and say, salesmen suck! Especially those used car salesmen. Those guys are assholes! And it was based on experiences of me walking into a car lot, like, hey, I think I just want to check out some cars, but I don't know if I want to deal with those pushy salesmen. And then they come out and they start doing their games, and I try to do my little deflections. And I'm like, I just want to look around. And then they keep pushing and nagging and whatever. And then the next thing I know, I'm backed into a corner with 3 dudes surrounding me, pulling their tricks. And then, oh, we'll just get the manager in here and we'll talk this and that. And what kind of payment are you wanting? And all their little games. And then I leave there feeling violated. It's literally, it's a version of rape. Because anytime we are enforcing or manipulating or coercing someone to do something that they haven't fully chosen into, we are raping them. And so even when we judge the rapist, really, it's like, screw you, rapist. There's 3 fingers pointing back. How many times have we raped others? How many times have I forced and coerced my children into doing things they didn't want to do? How many times and ways have I manipulated my spouse into doing things she didn't want to do? And how many times have you done? So we have these patterns ingrained in us that we were conditioned to believe are normal. But yet, when others do them, and then we feel violated, and if we receive the feedback, we would see, 1, how we're the same. And then 2, later on when I realized, okay, if I'm not a victim to anything, why do I feel so victimized by these damn used car salesmen? I'm like, oh, it's because I didn't own my power. I didn't love myself. I wasn't clear on who I was, so that their tricks and their games worked on me. And so then I feel powerless and I'm resentful because of it. But the true feedback and message and learning opportunity for me was learn to fully love myself and own my power and claim that and stand up so that I can walk into any used car sales lot anytime, anywhere, and absolutely have a blast with those guys. And me being the one who's determining how this is all going, and they're the ones going, oh shit, what just happened? Whether I want a car or not. If anything, the used car salesmen are scared of me now. And this is available to all of us if we quit acting like victims, if we quit blaming out there and we receive the feedback of how did I get triggered, where did I lose my power, how did I create that, how can I create something else, what's the source of me being at the effect of them and being angry at them and judging and persecuting them. It's that I violated me by not loving me and therefore placing myself in a position to be powerless at their manipulation. I created that. And so the more we get conscious to what's happening in our world and stop living in a reactive state, in a victim state, and we step further and further into radical responsibility, meaning I am 100% responsible for every result in my world. Everything. And anybody or anything that I am projecting on and hating on and blaming and criticizing and attacking and making up all my judgments and stories about, it's not about them ever. It's always about me. But, so let's go back to the topic, the original topic. The reason why we have a bad taste in our mouth around salesmen is because we've put ourselves in a position to allow ourselves to be manipulated and controlled because we don't love ourselves, because we don't value ourselves, because we're not impeccable in our own integrity. When I'm impeccable in my integrity and my self-love with myself, none of the shit happens. Everything's easy, clear, aligned, and anything that's outside of that just bounces off. So then I walk in, and instead of playing the used cars salesman's game, I walk up, they're like, hey, you want to look at a car? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Can we get you into this today? Nope. I can tell you one thing right now. You will not get me into a car today. I am here to look, and there's nothing you can do, no games you can play, no tricks you can do. There's no amount of payment or down payment or anything that will get me to buy a car today. I'm clear on my finances. I'm clear on where I'm going and what I'm doing with my life. And today I'm not buying a car. I'm looking to see what I want to buy in 6 months from now. So if you want to show me that and build a relationship of value, then in 6 months you're going to get a sell. But if you try to push me right now, what I can tell you is I'm going to tell you to fuck off, and I'm going to get someone else over here who can help me. And they're like, okay, it's clear. We're going to play your way. But if I go in the old way, was like, no, I'm just looking. Well, so are you looking for this or that? Whatever the games are. And then I just keep playing along and annoyingly letting them come along and keep blabbering in my ear and playing their games versus me getting very clear right up front. I mean, this is true even one of the things that's popping in my mind. I read a study 5 years ago or so where they said the number one thing a woman can do to keep herself from being raped is to walk with confidence and certainty. A woman who walks through a sketchy neighborhood who's like, that actually attracts the predator to want to go get her. It'd be like if I'm in the wild and there's a lion and I start running, they actually they get ignited. They're like, oh, let's play. Oh, pray. They actually want to come after me. But if I stand up to the lion and I'm like, get big and I get loud, the lion will actually most likely run away. So, and the woman don't need to be big and loud. It's her energy. It's her body language. So a woman could walk through the sketchy area and just be like, and the guys would just be like, there's a different frequency. They don't even want to approach it because they feel actually intimidated by the frequency. This is true of used car salesmen, rapists, anybody, everybody, even more normal people, because we're all abnormal, right? But those of us that are like not raping, killing, and like stealing and like manipulating intently and intensely and all this stuff, right? When we vibrate on a frequency, like as a coach, or anyone who's selling a product or service, people who say I'm a fitness coach, if they're at a lower frequency or level of understanding and ability around fitness than I am, they're willing to buy from me. if I'm talking to them and in their field of awareness, they're like, clearly this guy doesn't know, he's not more advanced, he hasn't experienced more success or knowledge than I have, they're like, I'm not buying from him. I don't care how good he is at that. So this is true of consciousness or spirituality or health or finances or anything, any topic. A person will buy from you if your frequency is higher than theirs on that specific topic. Or another way of looking at that is, if we're climbing a mountain and I'm a few steps ahead of you, as long as I'm at least a few steps ahead of you that I can guide you through those few steps and save you time, money, and energy, then I'm qualified to assist you with that, and you will buy from me. So now we've talked about why we have this bad taste in our mouth. Now let's talk about more on the topic of why sales is potentially the most virtuous thing we can do. So first off, let's go to the principles of prosperity. The principles, and what I mean by principles, a principle is a natural law that governs the way shit works. And if you look it up in the dictionary, it will literally say that. That governs the way shit works. Just teasing. So natural laws that govern how things work. And Jesus pointed this out over and over. He's like, consider the lilies of the field, how this happens, and consider the birds and how this happens, and look out here in nature and how this happens. We can observe the principles of the universe based on what we observe in our world, if we receive the feedback and pay attention. So there's certain principles, and here's how you know the difference between a strategy and a principle. A principle is true across the board on all topics, no matter what the time of year, no matter what the economy's like, no matter what's happening, it's always true across the board. So like when bankers and financial advisors try to sell you high risk equals high reward, it's a lie. And the way we can test it is simple. Hey, your kid's about to run across the street and there's high traffic. Hey, high risk equals high reward. Hey, your sexy wife who's incredibly beautiful and talented is hanging out with an incredibly sexy dude who's incredible and talented and outgoing and all these amazing things. Hey, high risk is high reward. So you can test, anytime someone's trying to sell you something, you can test if it's true. And let me give you an example, since this is kind of along the lines of money, so that you can see if these same bankers who sell you high risk equals high reward actually believe in it and live by it. So most of you probably have a car that's financed. Some of you, a small percentage of you, have paid cash, but the majority of you have financed your cars. And some of you think you're super smart because you paid cash for your cars, and I would actually challenge you to realize that using the bank's money for 3 or 4 or 5%, and then taking your money and investing it into your passion and purpose that will make you over 100% return per year on investment would be a much wiser use of your money than spending your money on a car and not having any debt. So there's a lot of bullshit beliefs we have about debt because of the advice we've heard from broke people. So broke people have been conditioned to not have debt. Rich people have been conditioned to use other people's money to make money, and so then the bank's money makes them money. So an example of this, a chiropractor invests $100,000 to get an education to be a chiropractor. They then turn around, and the chiropractors that I've coached make somewhere between, on the lowest end, $100,000 a year take-home pay, profit take-home per year. And on the highest end, my highest paid chiropractor was making over $3 million take-home pay per year. So he invested $100,000 to get the human life value to be able to do it. And the human life value that he invested in, the chiropractor who's only making $100,000 knows how to do chiropractic. The chiropractor who's making $3 million knows how to do chiropractic. He knows how to lead a team of chiropractors. He knows how to market. He knows how to sell. He knows how to implement systems and all this other shit. So instead of $100,000 a year, he makes $3 million a year because of his human life value, his knowledge and understanding, skill sets, and abilities. That's what separates him from the other guy. Same industry, same opportunities, same marketplace, different human life value because of his choice to invest in that. But the point being is, when invested into your human life value and your passion and your purpose and your business based around that, you have the ability to make over 100% return per year on investment. For the $3 million chiropractor, he's making like 1,000% per year or something like that. So if the bank will loan you money for 5% or 7% or 3% or 10%, and you can make 100+%, why the hell are you using your money to buy a car when you could use your money to make 1,000% or 100% and use their money to buy you a car? Okay, so let's backtrack a few steps. Let's go back to, if everyone were doing what they loved, we would have world peace. But the number one thing that stops people from doing what they love, instead of the number one thing, I'm just going to point out everything that comes to mind. Which one is, well, I don't know, I'm not certified. I don't know, there's other people already doing this and they're probably better than me at it. I don't know, like, who am I to do this? I just think I need more breakthroughs first. Yeah, I think I need to attend 18,000 more workshops, then I'll be qualified. Then I'll be qualified. And like, maybe I just need to get some more coaching and some more breakthroughs. And maybe if Saturn and Venus align, I heard that it's going to be a really good year this year for Virgos. So we wait and we wait and we wait and we wait for the moon and the stars to align, and for another breakthrough and another workshop and another training and another coaching session. And if we would just own the truth of who we are. Every one of us is limitless. Every one of us is a child or a being or an extension of Source. Every one of us has absolute limitless potential, and our spirit knows all things. Every one of us has access to tap into the cosmos and download anything we want anytime. But we don't love ourselves. We don't value ourselves. We don't trust ourselves. And so we wait. One more video, one more training, one more coaching session, one more plant medicine journey, this vision into the cosmos, one more meditation. One more strategy or technique, which reminds me to come back to what I mean by principles. So I talked about, I better take some notes or I'm going to because I jump all over the board if you haven't noticed. So we got principles. We got high risk equals high reward I haven't finished. And then we get to come back to sales and marketing, and I think there's a couple others that will resurface too. So principles come true across the board. And I was giving an example of finances and high risk equals high reward. So as you finance a car, let's look at if the bank lives by high risk equals high reward when they finance you a car. So Amanda says, I probably shouldn't be on the front end. I'm too distractive. And I'm like, I'm loving it. She's helped me be playful, and I see her face and all her funny expressions and interactions, and I love it. So thank you for being here. Please be on the front end. And anybody, everybody, I love to see your smiling faces and your interaction. It gives me something to interact with and to relate with humans. Like, all my marketing people are like, look at the camera, which when I'm recording a Facebook video, then yeah, I'm starting to remember to do that. So I like actually look in the camera so you feel like I'm looking you in the eyes. But when I'm on these, I'm like, I don't want to talk to the camera. I want to look at these people and talk to people. I want to serve people. I don't want to serve computers. So, so to the person viewing the recording, it looks like I'm looking down. And for me, what I'm experiencing is looking at you. So, and I love the interaction and the facial expressions. Keep them coming. Thank you. So principles. So and high risk equals high reward. So let's look at this auto loan deal. Let's see if. So when they sold you high risk, they're like, okay, so you want to place your money with us in a CD. Awesome. Would you say you're a high risk person, a medium risk, or a low risk? High risk equals high reward. In other words, hey, if you give us total liberation to do whatever the hell we want with your money, then we'll sell you the thought that you'll make more money on it, but it just gives us more freedom to do whatever the hell we want with your money and not be at risk if we lose it. So that's what they're really selling you, but what you're hearing on the surface is high risk equals high reward, and if you're a risk taker, then you buy into that all day long thinking you're smart. Now let's look with what they do with that very same money. They turn around and they say, oh, well, now that you've given us your money, let me loan it back to you in a car loan. So you gave me your money, and I promised you 3% in the CD, and then I'm going to turn around and loan your money back to you for 5% for your auto loan. So I'm already making money. Now, what are the risks they take? Let's see how high risk they have. They risk that you will not pay your payments. They risk that you will total the car and not have, and not pay payments, not pay it off. They risk that you could depreciate the car and run it out of oil and have it be broken and then no longer value it as much because you're starving and you're choosing to feed your kids and yourself over paying the car payment. But at the end of the day, let's see what they're really risking. One, they require the loan to be insured. So if the car gets wrecked, car gets paid off, whether you have the money or not. Who do they have pay for that insurance? So if I could loan you money and then have you pay for the insurance to make sure I get paid back, is that high risk? No. I had you pay to make sure that I get paid back. I use your money to ensure my success. Okay? Next issue. What if, for some reason, you don't pay the payments? Well, you signed a contract, said we can sue you. We will take the car back, we will auction the car off, and we will charge you and sue you for the difference, and you will have to pay. Okay, so all that's covered in the contract. They're going to make money on that. Okay, what's the next scenario? You don't pay the payments, you quit paying insurance, and you total the car with no insurance. Did they lose money? It appears that they did, right? But they didn't. Why? Yes, they can sue you for that car, but let's say that you've got nothing and you don't care about your credit and you move out of state. Does this happen? Yes, it happens. So they don't collect on that car. Do you think they factored that into their numbers to make sure that, do you think they have an algorithm that tells them 0.025% of people will 100% default on this with no insurance and we will not collect the money on this? 0.33% will default in this other way and we will only collect this much on it and we'll have to pay this and go through these steps to get it. And this percentage will fully pay, and this percentage will halfway pay, and this percentage will do this. So we'll adjust our percentage rates, and we will adjust the factors of how we filter through who we loan money to eliminate these numbers. And at the end of the day, we win every single time. Even when we lose, we already won, because we won and then we played. Even when they lose, they win. So now let's see, do they actually have high risk equals high reward, or are they living by basically no risk? They're at almost a 0% risk. They win and then they play. They don't play to win. They win and then they play. They're not gambling. Warren Buffett said the number one rule, that he was the richest man in the world. They said, what's your number one piece of advice about being wealthy? He said, never lose money. And they're like, funny, no, give us the meat. He's like, no, that's the meat. I'm serious. Never lose money. They're like, no, but how do you do that? He's like, I'm serious. Think about it. Never lose money. So think about that. I thought about it a lot, and I was like, okay, what does that mean? It means stop effing gambling. Stop hoping and praying that you're not going to lose money and make deals where you know you win. Where you're not hoping that you win. You're not trusting that you'll win. You're not depending on the rain. You're not depending on the forecast. You're not depending on the economy. You're not depending on others to be honest and for life to go perfect and not have their loved ones die and file bankruptcy. You know that that shit happens, and you're not fighting against that. You're saying, yep, these are the numbers. Here's how we offset that. Let's set a plan up this way so that even with all that, we still win. Perfect. Now we won before we even played. Muhammad Ali said something, I don't even know how he said it, but it was something to the effect of, you know, the fight is won before you ever step in the ring. And the time for preparation isn't then. That's over. The preparation time's over. Now you're just going to see, it's just a time of reconciliation to see what the truth is. So we win and then we play. So for instance, like Warren Buffett, here's what I picture. He's in these high circles, he's like eating at some banquet, and someone's like, hey man, I got this shipping company I'm thinking of selling. I've been building these huge steel ships for the military, but they canceled their contract, and I'm sick of the business. I'm selling it for half off. And he's like, he doesn't go, half off, woo, scarcity, gonna save a bunch of money. I'll get this business, and then I'll hope that it works out and that I can find a way to sell ships. I'm going in the shipping business. He doesn't jump on this the way scarcity-minded people jump on this. He doesn't go on scarcity. He wins them plays. So then what does he do? He goes, well, that might be an opportunity. Let me make a few calls. Hey, Tom, didn't you say that the blah, blah, blah was needing ships built? Yeah, you know that guy Mike. Yeah, exactly. Would you reach out to him, see what the deal is with the ships, and if maybe we could have a conversation about it and his need for ships? Totally. Okay, talk in a while. Next day. Yeah, he does need some ships. Let's talk. Perfect. Tuesday at 2 work? Yep. So, Mike, tell me about these ships you're needing. Yeah, I need like 12 ships a year. They're 180 million apiece. Okay, so if I can build these for a price and meets all your needs, what are the main needs that you have, blah, blah, blah. If I can build these, are you willing to sign a letter of intent or a contract or agreement saying that if I can meet all these needs at this price point, that you'll give me this work? Totally. You come highly recommended by Bob, and of course you're Warren Buffett. I mean, everyone, yeah, hell yeah, let's do it. Great. Hey Tom, you said 50% for that shipping business, right? Yep. I'll do it. Boom, he already pre-sold the ships, bought the business for half price. He's now in the shipping business, and he already won. He didn't go in it hoping. And then the thing that happens is if this conversation, the first conversation goes different, where he says, no, we don't have any ships. Okay, look in, hey assistant, look around, see if you can find up and drum up some opportunities to build ships. Let me know in the next 48 hours. Thank you. So if he doesn't find something, then he just lets it go. It's not an opportunity. It's a gamble. He's not going to go shell out millions of dollars to buy a thing at 50% that doesn't serve a need that won't make him money. But he leverages, and when I mention the word human life value, notice the other part of his human life value is who he knows. It's what he knows and who he knows. So one of the sayings is, I'll take networks over net worth any day. Like, who do you know, not what do you have? Warren Buffett lost all his money. I believe this is true. I might be a little bit off on the facts. I know it's mostly true. It's like something like he lost everything, filed bankruptcy, and was worth $1 billion within 12 months from then. So it's something close to that. So what does that take? Is it luck? Hell no. He has ugly hair, he's a weirdo, and a lot of people don't even like him, and he kicks ass at that. Why? Because he's aligned in that field, in the world of finances and real estate and all the stuff he plays with. He knows his shit. He knows the principles like the back of his hand. He can see a deal and know what it takes, and he's like, boom, 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 boom. And he wins almost every time. Because of the human life value, it's what he knows and who he knows that makes that happen, even if he files bankruptcy. For a lot of us, it's like, oh man, I went through bankruptcy. It was a really tough time in my life. I really doubted and questioned myself, and I struggled, and I went on turned into a hippie and lived off the land and hated the money system and hated all these people and blamed corporate America and screw this and it's money. Money's the problem. Money. I hate money. Screw money and screw people that have money. Wait, no, I'm just angry because I don't know how to make it and I lost my ass and I still have some hurt that I haven't cleaned up around. So Warren Buffett, he's probably like, this is how I picture it. He's like, oh shit, that was a bad move. We just lost $1 billion. Woo! Damn. All right, what can we do about this? How can we mitigate loss as much as possible? Let's go. Gather the team. Let's go. Boom, 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 boom. All right. All right, we're going to have to file bankruptcy. This sucks. All right, let's get it organized. Get my attorney on the line. Boom, 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 boom. Lines all this shit up, goes through the actions, loses his shit. It sucks. Has to make a bunch of arrangements, pay people off, and do all this stuff. And he's like, okay, now what are we creating? No self-beat up, no self-abuse, no self-loathing, no feeling like a worthless piece of crap. All bankruptcy is a system within the political and financial structure of forgiveness. Like in life, we screw up and then we get forgiven. We forgive ourselves and others forgive us, or we don't. But the correct principle would be forgiveness. That's what allows everyone to learn and grow and move forward. So he says, okay, what can I learn from this? What can I do different? I'd rather just keep climbing and thriving and not have to hurt anybody, affect anybody, or make, all this struggle. So what can I learn from this? Because that's what repentance means, is making a new choice. It doesn't mean hate yourself, punish yourself, feel like a piece of crap, abuse yourself. It means make a new choice. That's all bankruptcy is asking for forgiveness for being out of alignment and making some mistakes and then recommitting to get back in alignment. But we're so damn scared of failure. But if we just got out of our self-loathing and went to creation instead of all our misery and our addiction to our pain and suffering, then we go straight into, okay, acknowledge the experience, feel some feelings, see what we got to do to clean this up and take responsibility for it, learn from it, and now devise a game plan moving forward to what value we're going to provide for people in the world that will keep us moving forward and expanding. A year later, boom, billionaire again. And the thing is me sitting around self-loathing means I'm not paying anyone back. If I'm a billionaire in a year from now, I can turn around and pay back the $1 billion worth of debt that I filed bankruptcy over easy. My darkness and my smallness and my self-loathing robs my ability to serve the world. But even if the world wants to crucify me and say, you suck, you're ugly, your hair sucks, and you filed bankruptcy, so you're a piece of shit and you're a failure, if I want to buy into all that and suffer, then yeah, I can suffer, but it won't empower me to help anybody. But if I go like, okay, yeah, they're really tearing into me, all right, and if it triggers my stuff, see what I can learn from that too. And if it doesn't, be like, I send you love, I acknowledge your pain, I know you're suffering, and I know you're projecting on me, and I'm sending you love, and I'm going to go shine and kick ass and provide value, and then I'll turn around, if I feel so inclined, I'll go pay back all the stuff I didn't pay back in the first place. And in the meantime, all that it will have done for the people who went without is they will have become stronger and more capable, and they will be pleasantly surprised to receive a big old chunk of money when they least expected it. Everyone ends up better off out of the deal. So no matter what we perceive as a bad experience, it's all a learning and growth opportunity if we choose to make it so. Okay, so now let's identify the difference between a principle and a strategy. So I said, a strategy is true sometimes, a principle is true all the time across all factions, all realms. So for instance, that don't make principles better than strategies. It just means know the difference, because sometimes strategies work, but principles always work. And here's an example. You could say, the key to getting rich is buying houses that are run down, fixing them up, and then selling them for a profit. And the best market is middle-income houses that range from $300,000 to $700,000. Now, that would be a strategy, not a principle. The reason why we know is that if the market shifts, that strategy no longer works. If high-end homes or middle-end homes are no longer selling because the real estate bubble burst and now everyone's renting and everyone's giving up their big houses and going to rent, your strategy no longer works. So strategies work for a time given the right elements and ingredients. Principles work always. So what would a principle be? A principle would be dollars follow value. That's true always. Or value follows value. It's always true. Whether I plant a tomato seed and cultivate that for a long time and it grows into a tomato plant that gives me 50 more tomatoes with 1,000 tomato seeds in each, it becomes more. Because of the value I provided, I received a lot more value. The law of reciprocation. So value follows value. That's true no matter what the real estate market is. So if I know that principle, instead of saying, no, flipping houses is key. You buy them low, fix them up, sell them high. So buy low, sell high is the correct principle. That works every time. Anytime you can buy something for cheaper and sell it for more, you will profit. That happens every time, no matter what the market's doing. But if you don't align with the principle of supply and demand, and if there's not a demand for what you're offering in the marketplace, no sell. So must align with those principles. So the key principles are value follows value, exchange creates wealth. This one's critical to our topic today. Exchange creates wealth. I'll go back to this one, but I'm going to go on to a few others. The next one is people are assets. Things are not assets. People are assets. So the approach most people take is, how can I get more money? How can I get more money? How can I get more money? How can I get more assets? How can I get more things? That viewpoint and come from turns us into whores. But if we come from the viewpoint of, how can I provide more value to people? Why? Because value follows value, and people are assets. And exchange creates wealth. Because the other half of this equation is, and any of you who have done healing work, the thing I did was went from chasing money to, oh, okay, I did these deep healing and spiritual journeys, and it's all love, man. All we need is love. And, money, it's overrated. And it's not even important. Money's not important. Love is important. And on a level, this is 100% true. But in this physical realm, on this planet, where we operate in a system of exchange, where it's actually smart to exchange. And me in my hippie little healer days was like, yeah, money, bad this, bad that, money this, money that. And in my religious days, it was the same thing. It was just, all I did was take my religious bullshit about money, and then went into hippie and new age shit, and took the same shit and called it new words about money, and sat in my self-righteousness judging the money system. When the money system is actually brilliant, it's not the problem. Just like the used car salesmen are not the problem, the money is not the problem. The money system's not the problem. The problem's in here. Every effing time it's back in here. It's not that. It's not the money system. It's not the politics. It's not the corporations. It's not the used car salesmen. It's all just feedback about what we're doing in here. So the part of me that's greedy and selfish and self-centered and needy and dependent and all this shit, yeah, that's a problem with money. But that's it. It's all just here. All in here. The rest of it is simple. Like, there used to be the rugged individual who lived on the plains who had to make his own fences and build his own house and grow his own food and hunt his own food and do all this stuff, and it was a miracle he could even survive, if he did. He even provided his own security against Indians, the people he stole the land from, So he was his own security force. He was all this shit. And life was miserable and hard. And he struggled and barely survived. And so then a new system was developed that said, hey, what if everyone shined and did what they did best? Then we could all be a lot more thriving in a lot less time, because we'd be a lot more efficient. So there was some new problems that occurred in that, because people came into it in their ego. Well, shit, I can grow 1 million chickens, feed them full of steroids, put them in, combine them all into 20 chickens into a little tiny cage. I can put them through meat grinders and not even separate their stuff. Then I can put some dye in it and some ammonium nitrate shit and sell you what we call chicken that's actually a bunch of shit. And, then I'll make great money off that. We'll call it McNuggets. And so, yeah, there's greed involved. And the thing is if I don't want greed out there, Mother Teresa said, you know, I'm not going to come to your anti-war rally, but I will come to your pro-peace rally. So me standing up and saying, screw corporations, screw greed, all I'm saying is, whoop, there's 3 fingers pointing back. What do I get to clear up around my greed and my selfishness and my self-righteousness and my lack of commitment to win-win? And when I know that I've cleaned that up in me, then I can move forward. The challenge is as long as I'm saying people who have money suck. Do I want to have money? Oh, hell no. Because then everyone will be pointing at me saying, people who have money suck. And then that's the next layer right there. If I'm not all right with people pointing at me and saying, you're a greedy bastard, people who have money suck. And I'm like, thank you very much. I hear what you're saying. I know how you feel. Used to feel the same way. I love you. Right? So it's layer upon layer of cleaning up my shit in order to allow myself to be those things. So that instead of being violated by the used car salesman, so therefore I can't sell, instead of being violated by the frickin' phone people who call and try to sell you shit all the time and violate your personal space when you don't want it, so now I can't be a salesman. No, just frickin' be a salesman who honors people and serves people and is committed to win-win. Be proud of selling shit. Be proud of creating exchange. So what happens if we don't exchange? Because I started to go on my hippie new age importance of valuing my stuff, right? First I was like, oh, it's all good. No, man, just glad to help. Yeah, thanks for the compliments. That filled me up. And my only form of payment was compliments. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if I accept compliments as my only form of pay, all this stops. I quit serving everybody with everything that I've learned and overcome in my journey. And I say, fuck you guys. I don't care about you enough. I don't care about me enough to care about you enough to charge and create a healthy exchange of energy with you. So instead, I'm going to quit. I'm going to blame money. I'm going to blame you for not paying me. And I'm going to go get a job. And I'm going to blame God for why I have to work at a shitty-ass job and be miserable. And then fucking fight with my wife about how miserable I am working this miserable job, all for her and all for the kids, that I sacrificed my entire life to work this shit-ass job to barely pay the bills because I was unwilling to value myself and my journey and all that I've paid to fucking be who I am, to make the contribution that I make, to empower people, to remember who they are and live up to their full potential, to step into their greatness and shine their light, to be the difference they wish to see in the world so that we can all stand up and do what we love and come home and brag to our spouse and our loved one about how amazing our day was and how many people we served and how abundant we are in the process and how enjoyable life is, instead of being fucking addicted to blaming and criticizing and justifying and defending our limitations and crying and whining to God and life and the world about how fucking miserable and hard life is and how everything outside of me is to blame. And I have no feelings about any of this. If you don't own your value, you continue being stuck and miserable. And you continue allowing the rest of the world to suffer and struggle through their shit. Everything that you've suffered and struggled through in your life, there are 1 million fucking people out there struggling with the same shit. There's 7 billion people on this planet. And there are millions of people right now today. There are people every 40 seconds someone is committing suicide. We've been on this call for nearly however long we've been on. That means every minute, less than a minute, someone died. Someone killed themselves. Someone gave up. Because their diet sucks. For my nutrition people out there. because their mindset sucks, for my mindset people out there. Because they're not doing yoga, for my yoga people out there. Because they're not meditating. Because they're not getting coaching and feedback and support. Because they're surrounded in environments that suck. With people that say, yep, that's just how life is. Life's hard. Then you die. You're a part of the problem. If you're not shining your light from the mountaintop, you're a part of the fucking problem. If you're not owning your value and worth and loving yourself enough to reach out and quit demanding perfectionism from yourself, you're a part of the problem. And the solution? Start focusing on what you're doing right instead of what you're doing wrong. Start focusing on how you are enough instead of how you're not. Start focusing on what's right about you instead of what's wrong with you. Look at yourself. You're freaking amazing. Even if all you saw was, like if you can't even think of your greatness, think of some version of it. Like, well, there's people out there murdering and raping and molesting and conniving out there, and I haven't done any of that today. I'm doing amazing. I'm part of the solution. And if you're above that and you're like, you know what? And I've been doing some yoga, I've been drinking green smoothies, and I've been meditating, I've been studying and expanding and growing and watching trainings and just like, and I'm being positive and shifting and learning and growing. You are part of the solution. You're further down the road than 95% of the people on the planet. 95% of them are still asleep thinking life's happening to them. Hello, you're awake enough to at least fucking be paying attention and acknowledging and expanding and moving forward and taking actions. What if you quit crucifying yourself for your imperfection and embrace your pure perfection as you are? Right here, right now, and started serving from where you're at instead of waiting until you have 18 gazillion certifications. There's no amount of external validation that will prepare you to shine. You either just choose it and commit to it and go, and the journey is what expands you. It wasn't all the workshops I did forever before I started sharing on video and teaching and training and just embracing my quirkiness and all that I am, to be able to say fuck on video or to be able to be a weirdo on video or whatever the hell I do. It didn't come because, yeah, the workshops helped. Yeah, they were a key part. They were just stepping stones, though. The shit that really started getting me good was just like doing it. Like, oh man, I just posted that video, so scary, I think I'm gonna die. Oh wait, I didn't die. Oh, whew. There's probably like 18 million people out there thinking about what a loser I am right now though, because I stuttered for a minute and I couldn't think of the right word to say. Got a smiley face. I couldn't think of the right word to say, and then I was kind of slow on my approach, and then I kind of stuttered a little bit, and I wasn't fully confident and certain, and I probably was too like over the top there and maybe offended some people, and like my warrior friends probably thought I was a pussy, and my healer friends probably thought I'm very angry and upset and unhappy and not very conscious and all of this. And you know, what is my mom and my community of warriors? What about my religious background? They probably think I'm evil for saying cells and money are good. Oh, shit. Now what am I going to do? The whole fucking world sees part of who I really am, and what if they don't like me? So, like, every time I make a post, someone's thinking, he swore again, I just hate how he swears. And someone else, oh, he just thinks that money and sex matter. Those are so temporal. And some other hippie, you know, whatever. Everyone's got all their shit, right? So when you make your post, whatever you're saying, if you're shining and you don't have enemies, if you don't have enemies, you're not shining for shit. If you don't have people attacking you and hating you and judging you, you're not shining. You're not being you. And the thing is every one of you have overcome things. Tremendous things. Divorce, death, suicide of a close one, loved one, weight loss, struggle with self-worth, relationships and communications, struggling with money, health issues, body issues, body image issues, spiritual disconnection, like so many levels. You've dealt with it. And you've overcome a bunch of them. And you don't need to be the best guru. You don't need to be better than me, better than Tony Robbins, better than anybody. This is not a comparison game. This is serve from where you are. You reach down and help the people who are less advanced up the mountain as you are. You're not better than them. You're equals. It's just that you started climbing that mountain 5 minutes before. And so you're 5 minutes further up the path. Not better than, equal to, but have some skill sets and mindsets that will assist this person so that they don't get bit by a snake and twist their ankle and take the side track that they think is a short cut, but it's actually a long cut. You can just help them save all that energy and effort and time because you already made those stupid mistakes, and you can point those out and say, hey, no, just do this, 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 and boom, they get up there fast and easy, and they're like, hey, this is awesome, thank you. Then if you really want to move fast, here's how we evolve fast as a world, as the human race. I don't just help the people who are behind me. I reach up and get help from the people who are ahead of me. And if we're all latched hands, and I'm hiring these badasses who are ahead of me, and the thing is I have multiple people follow me, my ass up the mountain. I got my marketing coach, my swim coach, my triathlon coach, my sales coach, my business coach, my systems coach, all these coaches, all of them are pulling my ass up the mountain, saving me. They're like, don't do that, do this, boom, boom, boom. I'm cutting decades off of my life experience. And so one 60-year-old might say, I've been doing this shit for 30 years. What do you got for me, you young whippersnapper? I'm like, yeah, you've been doing the shit wrong for 30 years. You're not humble enough to be open to learning, so you just sit and tell yourself how fucking smart you are and keep doing the same shit over and over again expecting different results. Meanwhile, I got 5 coaches guiding and directing me from the shit they screwed up on so that I'm advancing up this mountain 10 times faster than you are. Still doesn't make me better, but it makes my journey faster and easier. And in the meantime, I'm turning around and giving back. And the thing is when I'm giving back to the people who are behind me, it actually propels me forward, because if I give back and create exchange, if I help 100 people down here and they all give me $1,000, I just made $100,000. Can I afford to pay high-end coaches who know their shit, who can take me to faster and higher levels in a lot quicker and easier way? Damn straight I can. And in that process, I've now become better, faster, and so the people who are behind me that I'm helping, I'm actually moving up the mountain faster than they are because of the rate of investment that I'm investing back into my human life value. So now it makes sense for them to continue to support me because I'm continuing to bless their journey. And they get the hand down, it flows down. Everything I'm getting from these frickin' epic badasses that I'm able to afford because of how bright I shine and how much exchange I create, it flows downstream to my people, so they're moving faster than I did by a long shot. And she's like, calculus, my wheelhouse. I'm like, I didn't think I knew calculus. So let's go back to the topic of sales and exchange and all of this. So bottom line, guys, you've overcome shit, and if you're not helping people overcome that, and you're not owning your value around that, then they're continuing to suffer. And if you just say, okay, I don't need to be perfect, I just get to serve from where I'm at and be authentic about that. Just don't make claims that aren't true. If I said, I don't have a six-pack, so if I was like, 60 days six-pack challenge, come on, who's in? I'll sell this to you. And I don't have that, now I'm out of integrity, and now I have a sandy foundation, and shit's going to get ugly. Now I have to hold up all these pretenses, right? But if I said, hey, I don't have a six-pack, but if you want to be fit as hell, I can sure as hell, I'm fit as hell. My workout this morning was a 10.1 mile run in 1 hour and 37 minutes. It's rock and roll, right? So, am I qualified to teach fitness? Absolutely. And I have no certification. Am I qualified to teach nutrition? Absolutely. I know more than most nutrition people out there. Am I qualified to teach and empower around weight loss? You bet your ass. I was 260 pounds, and this morning I'm at 188. In fact, most of those trainers out there, they're like, check out my six-pack abs. They're like, they've always had six-pack abs. They could eat like shit for they do eat like shit most of the time. They could eat like shit for the next 6 months, then like clean it up for 30 days, and they're like, ripped. I'm like, I eat clean every fucking day of the year and train for Ironman, and I don't have six-pack abs. So am I qualified to teach someone how to have six-pack abs? At this point, no. But am I qualified to teach someone how to align their life with meditation and healthy eating and strong, solid exercise and mental toughness through the whole process? You bet your ass. So you don't need to compete with anyone else out there. You just discover what you kick ass at and own that and share it if you choose to. Now, I'm not offering fitness programs because I have deeper passions. And I could even share my deeper passions through that if I chose to. I could be like, hey, I'm launching a fitness challenge, but it's all going to be around inner work and mental toughness and discovering your limitations and how to bust through those limitations. That's the only way I would be actually like fulfilled by it, because just helping someone have six-pack abs doesn't fulfill me. Helping them create a mind of steel where they master themselves and their life, that intrigues me. So whatever path that takes, if it's, okay, we're going to use the body, we're going to use this, but hey, my program uses all of them. That's why I brought all those in. My 4 main struggles were my fitness and health, my relationships, my spirituality, and my finances. That's why I teach on all of these. Because I have received a level and created a level of success in all of those areas. Now, am I the best of the best in all those areas? No. There's people that make more money than I do. There's people that are better marketers than I am. There's people that are better at sales than I am. There's people that are better at all those areas than I am. I don't need to be the best of the best. I just need to be further up the mountain than the people I'm serving. And the more I do it, the better I become. So, as we own our value and we choose to create exchange for it instead of just saying giving it away, because the true nature of energy is to give and receive. So a tree grows leaves, and then there comes a time when it lets those leaves go. Those leaves fall on the ground. They become ultimately deteriorate and break down and become soil that feed the roots of the tree that become new leaves. It's this cycle. It's in all of life. Bees and honey and flowers create this exchange. Birds eat seeds, poo, lands on the earth, plants grow. Like, it's just a constant cycle of exchange in all different forms of value. But when we say, if the bird's like, no, I can't accept your seeds, I'm fine. Bird dies. Whole food chain gets out of whack and the earth is destroyed. If the bird stops being okay with receiving. That's funny, and it's pretty much true. If a bird decides like a human, no, I'm fine. I'm not open to receiving. I'm fine. I don't need anything. I just give. I'm selfless. Bird stops eating, dies, food chain's interrupted, boom, bees die, we all die. So that's how silly we are when we're not okay with exchange. Or, and the flip side of that is, we feel entitled. The reason why I wouldn't be okay with exchange is the flip side is I feel entitled to your services. I feel entitled to your advice. I feel entitled to your support. Because we're family, we're friends, or, you know, how could you charge for information? Or how could you charge for advice? Or how could you charge for that? You should just give that away. Okay, so when we own our value and our worth, and we allow our light to shine, and we open up to the importance of exchange, and we see people as value, and we choose to align our financial path with our spiritual path. So our financial path is a life of service, of providing value, of how can we most deeply bless and benefit people's lives. How can we and how many people can I empower to be awesome, and how many people will they inspire and empower so that it goes exponential? So when we've embodied all of that, then it just comes down to a simple conversation of discovering, and here's the beauty of sales when done with integrity. They're done with absolute commitment to win-win. You never sell something that just benefits you. You always sell something that benefits you and them. But you also never sell something that just benefits them, because that would be a win-lose, which is a lose-lose because we're one. The true win-win is I win, you win. We both feel like we got the better end of the deal. We both feel like we got the better end of the deal. So you're like, hey, I would rather have your coaching than my money. Looks like Shane would like some questions. I will open up the floor for some questions in a few here. So, win-win. So be absolutely committed to win-win. Be absolutely committed to providing more value than you charge for. So if I charge someone $10,000 for coaching, my whole objective is to make them $100,000. If I charge them $10,000, now not everything is tangible in coaching. You don't have to be able to help them make money. There's a lot of intangible stuff. Good relationships, happiness, peace, freedom, joy, health. You can't, those aren't as tangible as money. But don't underestimate the value of those. They're actually the most valuable things. But I love to give people those intangible results, and then on top of that, I want them to receive the tangible. My ideal client gets their relationship sorted, their health sorted, their spirituality sorted, and then with all the freed up energy they were wasting and all of that, they channel it into their finance. They align their finance to be their passion, their purpose, their spirituality, and their finance all in one path of service. So they're doing what they love and making more money than they could ever make doing anything else because it's aligned with their passion and purpose. And so as a result of that, yeah, they got their life totally aligned on all aspects, and tangibly we can prove it on paper. Look, you paid me $10,000, you made $100,000, plus your life's awesome. There's no arguing with that. The rate of return on investment, you can't even put a price on it. So when we think of it that way, it's like, and here's the way I want you to view it with yourself. Whatever you've overcome, if you don't help them, they continue to struggle. So imagine that you were deathly ill with cancer and the doctor said you were going to die and that there was no cure. And then you overcame it and cured yourself. And you know how to help others cure themselves too. you're either going to learn to empower yourself. So rather than calling it sales, I'm going to soften it up. I'm going to say, you're going to learn to empower yourself to have empowering conversations that assist other cancer people to overcome their cancer, or you're going to allow them to suffer and die and allow all their loved ones to suffer through the experience. So what I'm saying is, your greatness that you're sitting on, the talent that you've buried, because the parable of the talents absolutely applies here. You're given talents and abilities. If you bury them, they are taken away and given to the servant who went and expanded upon them. So you're giving these talents and abilities. You're either going to share them and be blessed, or you're going to bury them and lose them. Meanwhile, I will be expanding them, and I will be receiving more. In all forms. More money, more love, more sex, more passion, more connection, more joy, more fulfillment, more ease, more space, more time, more choice. All of it. More knowledge, more wisdom. Like, I'm expanding at a rate, just it goes faster and faster and faster and faster. So you're either going to do the same, or else you're going to do status quo, or you're going to do something else. So if I've owned all that and I step into it, I say, okay, yeah, I'm going to serve. How do I create the empowering conversations that are aligned with the integrity of win-win, providing more value than I charge for, and have the conversation, rather than being a pushy sales car salesman type approach, how can I make it be easeful and enjoyable and integrous? And some of the principles that are required are: seek first to understand, then to be understood. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Next step, the number one skill in relationships. So sales and marketing is simply relationships. The number one skill in relationships is listening. If you don't know how to listen, you suck at relationships. If you take everything defensive and go into your ego and drama and blame and attack and saving and all the stuff, you suck at relationships. If you can't just be present with someone and fully hear them and listen to them epically, and there's a lot of skill sets around that, but optimally you acknowledge what they're saying, what they're feeling, what they're wanting. There's a whole way of being that allows you to be an epic listener that is just phenomenal. But in sales, be an epic listener, because it's just relationships. Remember, people are assets. So you're just building relationships and communicating effectively to discover what their problems are and provide solutions. What's more frickin' virtuous than that? You think it's virtuous to say, how you doing? Fine, and then just walk by? To keep putting our fucking smiles on and saying we're fine? That's virtuous? What if it's more virtuous to actually have real and authentic and deep conversations where we discover where each other's really at and what each other's really experiencing, and instead of leaving each other stuck while we all walk around with our masks on, we all get real about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And then we reach out and assist each other and say, well, shit, if you're feeling depressed, let's go to yoga together. Let's meditate. Let's eat healthy. Let's clear our minds. Let's think differently. Let's join Limitless Legion. Let's watch some videos. Something, anything, whatever your path is. Do all of them. But if we just say, how you doing? Fine. The game continues on. So if we look at them as relationships and we're looking to how can we serve those relationships, and we just get into conversations to discover what they're struggling with, and then if we have the solution, offer it, and offer to create an exchange for it, then we move forward. Otherwise, and if I don't have the solution, say, you know, you'd be better fit to work with this person. I'm constantly referring people that I get into sales conversations with, and they want a certain product or service, half the time I could actually help them because of my vast experience. But half the time I'm like, no, with my bandwidth and everything I got going, I think it'd be better for both of us if you worked with so-and-so. Let me connect you with so-and-so. It'll be cheaper, it'll be easier, it'll be more effective, blah, blah, blah. Your job isn't to just sell everyone you get on the phone with or get in contact with. It's to meet them, discuss with them where they're at and what they're needing and wanting, and then provide a solution, whether it's yours or you're just referring them to someone else that can help them. For some people, they don't have any money. Someone emailed me this morning, or we were chatting at some point, and I'm like, how much would you be willing to invest at this point? They're like, $50. I'm like, well, I don't know anyone that'll help you for $50 a month. I know no coach that will help for $50 a month for what you're wanting to accomplish. So but that doesn't make them worse or anything wrong with that. It's simple. It's like, cool. For now, let's make sure you stay active in Limitless Legion, consuming the free content, participating in this, creating the support group, this, that, and the other, so that you're continuing to advance and move forward, and then there will come a time when you easily afford what you get to afford to create what you want to create. So you improve and increase on the areas that you get to now, and then later you have more capacity. In the beginning, I didn't have the ability to invest in the coaching and support that I get today. That came over time. And sometimes I got to take some big leaps. One of my biggest leaps, I borrowed $30,000 for a 3-month coaching program when I couldn't even pay my bills. My wife almost left me over it. And then I paid it off before I was done with the 3 months. I knew that's what I needed to do. I knew I was willing to go all in, even if my wife chose to leave, because I know who I am and why I'm here. I know when Spirit says go, that I go. And we would not be here today if I hadn't made that move. And my wife now says, you know what? When you've called the move, move. I'm not going to get in the way anymore. Thank you. I'm so grateful. So here's the process. I want you to think of it as 5 steps, and I'm going to move quickly because we're going long. The rule is I'm simply listening. I'm asking questions. I'm not a used car salesman saying, you really should buy this car. It's a really cool car. It's fast, it's easy, it's cheap, and it gets great gas mileage. You would look great in this car. That's not the path. The path is listening. Hey man, how's it going? Good. Just looking today, or you want to buy? What's your plan? Well, I don't know. I'm kind of just looking. Cool. For yourself or for someone else? I'm thinking about getting a car for my kid, but I don't know. What's your main concerns? Is it money? Is it investment? Is it risk? Well, this, and this. Got it. Cool. Well, I don't know when you're ready to buy, and I want you to know there's not going to be any pressure from me to buy at any point. I'd love to help serve you. I do like to make money, and I would like to sell you a car. I'm not going to lie about that. But at the end of the day, what I truly want is for you to be happy with your purchase and to get what you really want, what you really came for, and to solve the problem that you're trying to solve. And I would love to earn your business on a repeating basis so that you come back to me over and over again because of how epic I am with you. So how can I best serve you? What questions you got? You want fuel mileage questions, price questions? What are the main concerns you have that I can help you overcome? Whether it's lowering the price, lowering the payments, lowering the insurance, lowering the risk, lowering the cost. Let's talk. Let's see what wants to happen, and whether you buy it now or later. And if I don't have the car, then maybe I can refer you to someone else who does. Is that a used car salesman you'd want to talk to? Simple. Listen. Ask questions. So the 5 gates of questions that are most effective for me and many others are their pain, because there's 2 main motivators in all decisions for humans: pain and pleasure. You either want something different, like you either don't want the pain of what is, and or you do want the joy of what could be. So if I ask you questions around just one of those, then I've got half of the main motivators that I'm using to assist you to move forward. If I use both of them, I'm using both key motivators, so it's much more effective. Now here's the deal. In Limitless Legion, we have almost 400 members. Every person here in the group would be served by coaching with me. A small fraction of the people here coach with me. Many of the people in the group fear, oh, I can't afford it, or I don't want to be held accountable, or I'm just scared to face myself, or all these other things. So if I allow them to stay in their smallness and buy into their excuses and their smallness, then they will stay small. If I'm willing to call them out on their shit and hold them to their greatness and see them in the greatest version of themselves, they will become greater. So in my sales conversation, if they're like, well, I just don't have the money. Oh, okay, call me back when you get the money. Nope, they're not going to get the money. As long as they keep believing I don't have it, they're going to stay there. Just like if I didn't make that 30K investment, I'm still there. So if we discover, okay, well, are you going to stay believing that you don't have it and you can't get it? Or are you going to open up to the possibility of, how can I get it? So if we were having an empowering conversation, you would say, I don't have the money and I don't know how to get it. Could you help me figure that out? If you can help me figure that out, then let's rock and roll. I'm ready. But if they just sit back in silence, like, oh, I don't know, I'm not qualified, don't have the money, can't do it, oh, blah, 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 then they just stay stuck, digesting more information and not moving forward. So part of the process of your sales is to know the value of your product and service so certainly that when they have their fears and doubts and insecurities, that you don't take those smoke screens as excuses to not move forward, because you see them as their greatness, not their smallness. So like a badass breakthrough adventure over the new year, I had a dude that I knew had everything. He had already created a lot of stuff, but he'd gone through a divorce and he was kind of in a downswing. And I knew he had huge potential and that we'd be able to tap back into that and let go of a bunch of stuff and free him to move forward. But he was broke at the time. So what he told me was, yeah, I know I probably ought to go to Cancun with you, but I just don't have the money and I'm kind of overwhelmed right now and I don't know. I'm like, dude, here's the deal. You can stay stuck and keep dealing with this shit, or you can break through it and move forward with power. Yeah, but I don't have the money. Cool. Let's have a conversation about how you can get the money. Okay. Do this, this, and this. Oh, didn't think of that. Got it. Okay, here's the money. Great. I'll see you in Cancun. We go to Cancun. Rock his world for a week. He leaves there having let go of all this baggage and all this bullshit, propels and launches forward, earns back more than his tuition within the first 30 days, and has gone on over the last 4 months to close more than $2 million worth of business. Do you think the 5 or 10 grand he invested to attend Cancun even matters for shit now? Not in a bad way. And do you think the fact that he had to borrow money to get there matters for shit now? Hell no. He paid the loan back in a heartbeat and skyrocketed. He used other people's money. You are always only one idea or one relationship away from success. If you believe in yourself, if you get clarity and move forward. So, the steps. Step number 1, their pain. You're asking questions to identify their pain. So you're like, well, what questions? I'm like, okay, Jane, so tell me about your relationships. How's that going? Oh, man, Blah, 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 blah. Oh, tell me more. What's that feel like? Oh, it's so hard. It's just constantly fighting and struggling. Yeah, I hear you. I can totally relate. I remember being there. Got it. Okay, clear on the pain of your relationships. Let's talk about your finances. Where are they at? Oh, you know, doing good, but just can't seem to get past that level. So how's that affecting you? How's that affecting your parenting and your relationship and your health? And, you know, is that keeping you from being able to buy the foods and the things that you want to buy and do the trips and have the schools and the tutors and the support and live a life of freedom and choice? Oh, yeah, when you put it that way. Because everyone's in pain. Everyone's in a prison. Even if it's not a bad prison. I'm in a prison. I have a great prison. I really like my prison. Has a lot of freedom and a lot of choice. But there's mentors and people who have escaped what I call paradise here and found an even better paradise. It might be that instead of making 100 grand a month, they now make $1 million a month. You know, my prison's like 100 grand a month. Their prison's $1 million a month. It might be that, you know, whatever. That relationship can be even easier and more fulfilling. Like never thinking that we've arrived, always like, whoa, cool, how much, this is amazing. And how much better could it be? How good can I stand it? So I ask questions to identify their pain. So like, what are you wanting? What are you experiencing? What's the struggle around that? What does that feel like? Anything that's helping, well, the what are you wanting is more in the pleasure gap, or pleasure step. So identify their pain, because it's just like a navigation system. If I don't know where we're at, how are we going to get where we're going? We have to have a point of reference to go from. And everyone you're talking to is always in denial. Everyone's in denial. No, we're fine. No, my relationship's fine. No, finances are good. Like, really? If you were like living up to your full godliness and purest, most powerful state compared to where you are now, so you might say, yeah, my life's good. Yeah, it is good. And if you were at your full capacity and potential, you'd be a multi-bagazillion, quadrillionaire. You'd have unlimited choice on money, and it's not even about the money, it's about choice. You'd have epic, passionate relationships and sex. You wouldn't be waiting and wondering how to attract your ideal mate. You wouldn't be wondering why you're stuck with someone you hate. You wouldn't be all this other stuff. So even when you say life's good, it's like pretty much mediocre, status quo, half-ass bullshit. So all the people you're talking to that you're offering a solution to, and you don't need to have all the answers. That's cool that I choose 4 areas. I may even go away from that eventually and just choose one, because it's kind of a pain in the ass to market 4 areas. Most people don't want to take on 1 area, let alone 4. And all my marketing coaches say, no, niche down, niche down. I'm like, but I just want to help them have it all. Like, no, niche down, it'll be way easier. So we'll see where I go with that, but you don't have to have the answers on all of it. If all you're providing is one aspect, yoga or meditation or some coaching or some accountability, just serve where you are from, where you're at. Serve from where you're at. But in the sales process, all I'm doing is asking them questions about where they're at and getting them to be real about where they're at, because they're lying. They're all fucking lying. They're lying to themselves. It's something we do to help ourselves cope with the smallness that we're stuck in on varying levels. Right? We're all on varying levels of how much we've expanded into our greatness, but we kind of cope with our current level of smallness by telling ourselves it's better than it really is. So We ask them lots of questions and listen. So if you want to be brilliant, the principle is be interested, not interesting. At a party, if you just sit and listen and ask a person questions, they'll love talking to you and they'll think you're absolutely brilliant, even if you never said anything except, really, tell me more. What fascinates you most about that? Awesome. What did that feel like? That's so cool. What was your favorite thing about that? Awesome. Well, what's next for you? Whoa, that's cool. So all I'm doing is asking questions and they think, that guy's so cool and he's brilliant. And all I'm doing is listening. This is the same with sales. You're just listening and asking questions to gain clarity on where they're at and then see what you can do to help. That might be referring them to a book, referring them to a coach, referring them to a video, referring them to Limitless Legion, referring them, it might be selling them your product or service. You don't even have to sell your product or service as the cure-all, end-all. They're like, yeah, I'm going through a divorce, and I'm struggling and stressing. Yeah, I got a yoga studio. You ought to come down, do yoga. It'll help you relax and release the tension. It's not the cure-all, end-all, but it'll get you in a better state of mind so that you can interact better, and it's going to make a world of difference for you. Might even save you, like you could even stretch it so far as to say, chances are, from a clearer state of mind and off the drama triangle and out of stress, you will react differently to your spouse that you're splitting up with. And instead of going head to head with each other, you'll work collaboratively, and it'll probably save you not only a lot of headache and stress, but money too. You'll actually save money by coming to my yoga studio. So let's talk about that. If you're worth $1 million, if you butt with her head to head, you're going to pay attorneys tens of thousands of dollars, and you're going to split half your shit, so she's going to take $500,000 of your dollars. And so it's going to cost you $500,000 to split your shit, plus $50,000 in attorney's fees. That's $550,000. Or you can get your shit right and clear this up and save all that. Because the only reason why you're getting divorced anyway is because you suck at relationships, you suck at communication, you're self-centered, you're disconnected, you're distracted, you don't love yourself, you don't communicate worth the shit, you don't have a balanced life. So hey, how about we just address this right now? You come to my yoga studio, that'll be the first piece. I'm going to connect you with this coach who's going to help you sort this stuff, and boom, you're going to turn this ship around, and maybe you're not getting divorced at all. Would that be worth $50,000 to save you $550,000? And the heartache of splitting up your family and turning around and doing the same shit anyway because you haven't learned the lesson, so you're just going to recreate it again. So the third step is to ask them questions. So we've asked them questions. Step 1, questions around their pain. Step 2, questions around their pleasure, what they want. How would you like it to be? Step 3, questions around their gap. What's stopping them from being, here's where they are, here's where they want to be. What's stopping them from being there? Hint, it's typically skill sets, mindsets, and environment. Versions of that. So you ask them a lot of questions. Well, what all's in your way from having that? What's stopping you from being there and having that and creating that? Got it. Step number 4, commitment. If they don't commit, nothing's going to change. You're not getting them to commit to your product or service. You're getting them to commit to make a change, to take accountability and change their result. So it might be, so you're struggling and about to get a divorce, and you're butting heads and you're blaming and attacking her and playing the victim role. How's that working out for you? Well, not too good. What's that stand to cost you if you keep on this path? Oh, $550,000. Got it. Now, obviously a lot of times they don't acknowledge that. They're in denial about that too, so I had to ask questions to help them see that, right? And then I pointed out, so you can see that this is going to cost you $500,000, right? Yeah. Shit. Didn't realize that. Cool. So what's holding you back? What if you could turn all this around? What if with the right communication skills and clearing this shit up and healing from the past and all this, you guys could actually work it out and be happy and in love? Save the money, save the time, save the energy. Oh, that'd be cool. Awesome. So the first step to turning all this around is commitment. And it's not going to be easy. It's not a magic pill. It's not just, oh, hallelujah, someone touched you and blessed you and it's all over. You're going to have to do the work. You're going to have to learn new skill sets and mindsets and change up your environment and approach this from a totally different angle. You're going to have to let go of a lot of stories and beliefs you've had about what it means to be in a relationship and what this means and what that means and all this other bullshit. You're going to have to question everything you've ever believed about anything and take 100% responsibility for generating your own feelings and experience. So with that being said, and knowing that commitment is the first step to any journey, how committed to resolving this and turning this around and taking responsibility are you? Knowing that it's not a magic pill and it's not a quick fix. And now you don't move forward unless they commit 100%. If they don't commit 100%, they're like, I'm a 9 out of 10. Well, that's not enough to get you there. 9 out of 10 means you did all the work, but you didn't get the result because you gave up right before the finish line. They're like, well, shit. I'm like, well, let me remind you. You said you're experiencing this and this and this and this and this sucks. And that you'd like to experience this and this and this and this, and that's awesome. But that this and this and this is holding you back. And you told me you really, really, really want to change this. And I'm telling you it requires 100% commitment to change this, otherwise it's not going to happen. Now, tell me again, how committed are you? 10. Perfect. This is what I'm feeling like would help you. Either it's this program, product, service that I offer, or this book, person, or thing that I suggest. Here's the link. Your whole job and purpose of this conversation. So Mother Teresa said, there's more people starving for attention in the world than there are people starving for food. If all you gave them was attention on this call, you made a difference. If all they did was finally feel heard on a deep and true level, you made a difference. They already won. You already won. The call was of service. It wasn't just selling them something, it was meeting them, connecting with them, and serving them. You help them gain clarity from an honest perspective about where they're really at. You help them gain clarity from an honest perspective about where they would like to be. If all that happened was that, you tremendously bless their life. If people just knew where they really were and where they really wanted to go, that's one of the biggest steps. But then you even went a step further and helped them realize what was in their path and keeping them from getting there. What a blessing is that? If you stopped right there, you've already massively blessed their world. And then if you help them to realize the importance and value of commitment and to committing to themselves and to turning their life around, and that they're 100% responsible, and that it's not going to be delivered to them, and that they can change it, and to get them to commit to that, if you stop there, they won. But if you want to go all the way and create the exchange that honors all, and the highest and best of giving and receiving, say, cool. Here's my solution. And with pride, no sheepishness, no shame, no guilt, This is my offer. This is how it works. This is what it'll do for you, and this is what it costs. Or if they're not a fit, here, connect with this person. I'll connect you on Facebook right now, or here's a link, or here's their number, or here's their card, here's their website, here's the book. All you're doing is listening to somebody truthfully, asking the questions to get down to the root of where they're really at and what they're struggling with. And whatever that is, offering the ideal solution that you're aware of, whether it be through you or someone else. And then in the meantime, optimize your ability to serve them so that you can be of more and more deeper and more powerful service to more and more people. That's why I invest over and over and over and over and over again into my abilities. I want to be like so I set a goal and intention years ago. As I watched the Born Identity movies where he's like this badass that can survive and thrive in anything, even if the whole damn world's against him. And I was like, I want to be that with transformation and empowerment of people. Because when I was younger, I wanted to be a Green Beret or a Special Forces or like the best of the best at something. And then I kind of gave up on all that, thinking, no, I failed at this, I failed at that, I'm not enough. And then I was like, screw that. I'm going to commit and become the best of the best when it comes to transformation and empowering people. I'm going to learn modality after modality. Think of all the modalities he learned. It's like this martial art, that martial art, that martial art, this survival skill, this healing skill, this medical skill, this anatomy skill, like this interrogation skill, like all these things that he learned, grappling and parkour and all kinds of shit. And of course it's just a movie. But there's nothing that says we can't do the same on whatever level we choose. So I committed, and that's why I've been investing and learning in these 4 areas over and over and over, and will continue to do so. So to summarize those steps again, it's pain, pleasure, gap, commitment, solution. It's just 5 steps, and you're just asking questions in each step, and you keep asking questions in the pain one long enough to be clear on where they're at. Keep asking questions and just get curious. You don't need to know a script or know what questions. You just ask yourself, okay, what's the next question that will help me be more clear on where this person's at? And then the question will come in, and then you just ask it. Then they tell you, and you receive the answer, and then you ask for the next question. Then you ask it. Then you receive it. And the flow just happens. There's no script needed. It's just listening and tuning in and flowing with that. And once you're very clear on their pain and you've helped them, because the thing you got to get here too is that people buy emotionally and justify logically. So you want them to feel. You're not getting them to think, you're getting them to feel. So you want them to feel the pain of their current reality that they want to change. You want them to feel the joy of the future reality that they choose to create. You want them to connect with the pain and the struggle of overcoming that, and that they've already been trying, and acknowledge and be realistic about what's in their way instead of just them hoping and praying. Then you want to get them committed, and then you offer a solution. This is why it is so virtuous, because we are actually creating deep connection, listening, creating epic relationships, knowing where they're at, and providing a solution versus letting them suffer in their lives of quiet desperation. Sitting around wearing our masks saying, I'm fine, you're fine, cool, is not virtuous. It's a bullshit ego game that keeps us all isolated and stuck. Okay, so I'm going to open up the floor for questions. Shane, let's let you go first. And I'm going to go ahead and unmute you, or it looks like it's not letting me. So unmute yourself. Looks like you typed it in, but if you can unmute yourself and just ask me, that'd be cool too. Okay, so the question is, what would you say to the people who say that anyone who offers faith-based coaching should just give that away for free, and ask, would God want you to make money from other believers for something they can look up and find on their own, or get the same advice and info from someone who does give it away for free, such as a pastor or rabbi, etc.? No mic. Okay, so faith-based coaching should give away for free. So first thing to notice is oftentimes at church, a pastor will stand up and say, money's the root of all evil. It's harder for a rich man to get into heaven than it is for a camel to get through the eye of a needle. All this shit. And then they'll be like, okay, now we're going to pass the plate and receive donations. Is there any irony in this at all? So the richest organizations in the world are churches. They're in bed with the political organizations. They get to run and own business after business. So I don't know a lot of organizations, but I know a fair amount about the Mormon Church. Mormon Church owns business after business after business. And all of their business is tax-free. All the shit that they do, well, that might not even be true. Anyway, they manage a ton of money that, like, think of a church. Is a church a business, or is it a church in the business of edifying people spiritually? So obviously they've made an excess of money to be able to buy sky rises. They own multiple sky-rise buildings in Salt Lake City and probably all over. And all kinds of businesses. Even like Coca-Cola. They own shares in Coca-Cola. And all kinds of businesses all over. Well, where'd that money come from? Members. And it's reinvested and reinvested, and they may be managing that money epically. I don't know. I'm not making a moral judgment on how they do it. But my point is, the very people who say money is evil are collecting money for sharing their message about money is evil. Over and over. The next thing is so would God want you to take money from other believers? So because we both go to the same church, then the law of exchange doesn't apply anymore. It applies for birds, it applies for plants, it applies for tomatoes, it applies for trees. It applies for non-believers, but it don't apply for believers. If anything, aren't the believers the one that are most called to be aligned with the principles because they've been blessed with the higher truth? Therefore comes a higher responsibility, which is another thing they teach. So would God want you to take money from other believers? So the reason why God wouldn't want us to take money is if money is evil. And the reason why a believer would say you're not supposed to take money from other believers is because believers want to hang on to their entitlement that they deserve something from someone else who's in the same boat. So I would say this has nothing to do with correct principle, and I want to distinguish that. There's a difference between churches and the people in the churches. People in the churches are humans who have ego minds just like the rest of us. And when we have an ego mind, we tend to get in our scarcity thinking and then project our thoughts, stories, and beliefs out. So would God want me to take money from other believers? Absolutely. All the question is would God want me to give and receive and expand my ability to give and receive love and positive energy in all forms to improve my life and help others to improve theirs? Absolutely, He wants that. Or if not, would God want me to be broke and work at a shitty job and be miserable about that and not serve anybody with the blessings and wisdom that He shared with me? Yeah, all they need is in the book. So what Shane's response is, when I offer faith-based coaching, believers scoff and say all they need is in the book. So this happens all the time. And the limiting belief around this, and the issue is who you're speaking to. It's not what you're saying or offering, it's who you're speaking to. So believers who have convinced themselves that everything they need in the book is in the book There's some truth to that. There probably is every principle. If you read every story in the Bible, you could probably find every principle you needed to know about life. If you sorted through the egotistical human aspect and just paid attention to the lessons that are available and the learnings from all the experiences, you could probably learn everything you needed to know about everything. But if you read the book on swimming, do you know how to swim? No. And if you're surrounded in an environment of people who are small-minded and scarcity-minded and stuck in doing shit the ways that don't work, like the same people who say everything I need is in the book, most of them are not relating well. They haven't been open or willing to learn communication skills. For me, when I think back to when I was in their state of mind, it blows my mind to think that I thought that I even had any ability to relate with a woman or anybody whatsoever. Absolute idiot I was. All I knew was what had been modeled for me from my parents and step-parents growing up, which was a big-ass mess. I hadn't learned from communication experts and listening experts and relationship experts and parenting experts. If I hadn't learned that, you know what my parenting style would be? Slap the shit out of my kids when they don't mind me. You know what my communication style with my wife would be? Guilt trip, manipulate, control, blame, attack, and criticize, and then wonder why it's not working, and go through relationships and then keep saying, yeah, it's all in the good book. I don't care if it is all in the good book. The next issue with that is how do we interpret the book? Every person that reads the book interprets it differently. One person's like, yep, right here it says if your woman cheats on you, stone her to death. It says that. It says that plain and clear. If a woman commits adultery, she should be taken out and stoned to death. Is this what you believe? If so, align with it. Go live it. So would God want, let's see, take advice and info from someone who does give it away for free, like a pastor or rabbi? So here's the deal. There's some valid thing in this as far as marketing. It's a dumb idea for me to plan on marketing advice and information. Everyone can get plenty of information on YouTube. Like we are in the world of information overload. This is the age of information overload. So if you're offering just information, they can get it from a book, they can get it from a video, they can get it from YouTube, they can get it from Wikipedia. You haven't put yourself in a position of power. Now here in Limitless Legion, am I offering mostly information? Yes. The main offering I'm offering in Limitless Legion is information. But there's community, there's feedback, there's support, there's authenticity and vulnerability where people are sharing their learnings and their expansion and their breakthroughs and their growth, and people are able to witness that and learn from the experience. So it's like a living scripture. In today's modern era with real life experiences right here, right now, with us. So there's value in that, and it's my free offer. So Limitless Legion beats YouTube video search or Wikipedia video search. It's tremendously more value. And Limitless Legion doesn't hold a candle to my coaching program because my coaching program is experiential, it has accountability, it has one-on-one breakthrough and all these other factors that take it to a whole new level. So this is my free stuff. This is where I'm saying, guys, I'm doing marketing here. I'm saying I'm going to give away for free because value follows value. I'm going to serve those who don't currently know how to afford me. And I'm going to expose the world to my offering so that those who resonate will come to me and say, dude, I know you got what I need and what I want. Let's talk and move forward in a higher level. So the point is, offer something more than just spiritual advice. Well, there's two main pieces for you. One is, when you're marketing to those people, you're marketing to the wrong people. if they're a Bible basher who's like, I got everything I need in the good book. I don't need nothing from nobody. I'm not here to learn. I'm not open to learning. Just say, well, right here it says, the meek shall inherit the earth. Gain some humility and openness to learning, and maybe you'll move forward. But the more you think you know it all, then you already know your shit, and all you got to do is continue reading the good book, then you're going to keep getting the same result you've always got. And then on the second aspect for you, offer something bigger. Redesign your program so you're not selling information. You don't want to compete with YouTube. You don't want to be an information seller. You want to be a transformation. You want to create experience. You want to create something that takes it to the next level. Okay, next question is, how would you delineate that what you offer and charge for is worth it, better, different, considering others give it for free? At the end of the day, don't place any value on information. Don't place any value on a trinket. So like, think of phones. Back in the day before smartphones, it was like, okay, who can make it smaller? Okay, who can make it shinier? Okay, who can make it flatter and thinner? And like, so the whole competition was on stupid shit that didn't actually provide more value. It just played with our little ego mind of having a different feature. It wasn't actually even a benefit, it was just a feature. It was just like this ego trip. Then someone else came along and said, well, let's go in the phone business and let's totally revolutionize what a phone does. Let's have a phone like be irreplaceable and allow a person to run their whole world from it. Let's create something different. And so instead of competing in the phone business based on shininess or smallness or thinness, they redesigned and came in with a completely new approach that truly provided value. That when I can take an iPhone and make $1 million a year from it, just if I combine my iPhone and my human, or don't have to be an iPhone, I'm an Apple dude. If you're other from the wrong church phone person, then just convert my Apple talk to your talk. So, but the point is, I can take my iPhone, and with my human life value of my iPhone, I can make $1 million a year. Will I pay $500 for that iPhone? You bet your ass, all day long. And will everyone else, even if they don't know how to make $1 million from it, will they still buy the shit? Even if the $500, they're like, should I pay my rent? Should I buy food? Or should I get this iPhone? This iPhone looks real. Oh, I made my choice. We'll figure out how to pay the rent later. How many people do that? So, at the end of the day, create a product or service that provides true value. That it's just not optional. That they would be stupid to not have it. You know, do something different. Don't compete on shininess and all of that. So how do I delineate what I offer and charge for it is worth it, better, different, considering others give it for free? So anyone who is offering coaching for free, so anyone who's offering advice for free, that's one thing. Some of them just want to be heard and think they're smart. Some of them just want kudos for sharing their shit. Some of them are doing it for marketing purposes. But there's no one who, there's some people, I guess, that even coach for free. Like I did in the very beginning, I coached for free. But that is unsustainable. You cannot continue coaching for free. It's maybe a step for those who don't value themselves, to learn to test and see what results they can create for their client until they, and so I'd just be authentic about that. I'd be like, hey, I'm a noob. I'm pretty sure I can do some cool shit, and so I'm willing to do this for free just so I can see what I can do if you're willing to journey with me and you're willing to be coachable and teachable. all right, I'll do it. And you try it, and if you get some results, great. Expand on that, do more of it, learn from it, and then start charging. But anyone who's giving it away for free, either they're stuck in their own limiting beliefs, and they're probably not a good person to take advice from, because they're unsustainable. Like a pastor or preacher, the reason why they can do that is because they're collecting money from you to pay their income so that they can teach you about how evil money is. Like, that's just a vicious cycle. They wouldn't be able to sit and preach to you every damn week if they wasn't receiving money. Give me a pastor that spends no money at all and then shows me how to be at peace and be a producer of value in the world from that place, and I'll follow him. If he can show me how to provide maximum value in the world with no money, I'm in. And it doesn't have to be money, but it's about exchange of value. So, coaching or cheap product, yeah, you'll end up living under a bridge. So, Movement 360, or Holly, I guess, tell me, clarify more. So, you said coaching or cheap products. So, let me assume what you're saying, but please clarify in the meantime. But if it's a coaching or cheap product, the point is I get to deliver a bigger result to my client, ideally a bigger result to my client than my competition does. That's ideal. But at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. What mostly matters is that I provide more value than I charge for, meaning really, because it's subjective. It's maybe objective. Let me think. So it's, what the hell? It's relative. That's what I'm trying to say. So the value is relative. If I go to the store and I buy a candy bar for $1, that candy bar was worth less than $1 to me. That's why I gave my $1. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made the exchange. If I came to you and said, I'll give you $1 for $1, you would say, why? It's a waste of time and energy. So to the store, the candy bar was worth less than $1. They would rather have the $1. To me, it's worth more than $1. That's why I gave them my $1 for it. So it's an unequal exchange, not an equal exchange. But both parties feel like they got the better end of the deal. I only gave my $1 because I was like, yeah, $1, that's worth it. I'd like to have that. Tastes great. I like it. They're like, yeah, $1 for that. I'll take it. I only paid 50 cents for the candy bar, or 30, and I paid my light bill, and I still made a profit. So yeah, I'd much rather have your $1 because I have the resources and human life value and ability to run a store, buy shit for cheaper, at wholesale pricing, pay all my bills, manage my employees, and still make a profit on selling you a candy bar at $1. So I'll do that. Combination of my knowledge, my resources, my connections, my human life value allows me to sell you a candy bar for $1 and make a profit, and I want a profit, so that's a good deal for me. I feel better. I got the better end of this deal. So the store owner leaves there richer, and you leave there happier, or whatever, like more full, or with your taste buds satiated. So both parties feel like they got the better end of the deal. So at the end of the day in my coaching, what matters is, it doesn't matter what my competition is charging. It doesn't matter what the marketplace says the price is worth. It doesn't matter what the average coach charges. It matters, does my client leave there saying, that was amazing, I would do it again in a heartbeat. Thank you. Thank you. For one client, and this varies per client. So Tony Robbins charges $1 million a year for 8 15-minute sessions. 8 15-minute sessions. Now, to anyone on this call, you're probably not in a position to make that investment and or to have it pay off. He'd give you 15 minutes and you'd be like, oh, I don't even know what to do with this. Okay, now I'm scared shitless. I'll talk to you later. And then go back into your shit. But when he's talking to someone who's a multimillionaire, and Tony's like, all right, what's going on? Boom, boom, boom. Got it. Let me connect you with Joe, and then adjust this, and bam, you're on track. Oh man, you just saved me 10 million bucks. Thank you. Gladly. Tony's like, cost me 15 minutes, 8 times. Over the course of the year, I made you 100 million bucks. Are you glad you paid me $1 million bucks? Oh, hell yeah. Can I renew for next year, right now? Yep, call my assistant, make the payment, we'll get you moving forward. Glad to do it. So the poor person would say, $1 million for what's like 8 calls for 15 minutes. That's like 2 hours. That's $500,000 an hour. What a fucking ripoff. Yeah, to you, because you're stupid. Stupid if you believe it's a ripoff. And even that's not true on the deepest level. We're all amazing. But it's not a ripoff. There is no such. The only ripoff is when someone like finagles and lies and cheats somebody. There's no amount that's too high of a fee for any service or product. If I offered $1 million for this jug, and you're like, screw that, that's a ripoff. I didn't rip anyone off, but no one bought it either. So no one lost anything. So nothing bad happened. It's just that I overpriced the product and everyone said no, and then cool. That's it. So you set the price based on what value you think you're worth, and then you be committed to delivering more than what you charged. And it doesn't matter what anyone else is charging, or there's nothing outside of you that sets that price. And ideally, if you want customers to keep coming back, it's just, one person, if say he's worth $10 million, he loves his wife, but he's getting a divorce. If he gets the divorce, he's going to be lonely, separate his family. It's going to go against several of his values. It's not really what he wants. He wishes he could make it work with her, but he doesn't know how. He's going to lose $5 million as a result of the divorce by splitting half of his shit, and he's going to go through a lot of pain and suffering and other stuff and challenges, all these levels. Or he could invest $150,000 with me, learn, do the work, heal his stuff, learn new skill sets, mindsets, communication skills, relationship skills, reapproach the relationship in a new way, turn it around, save the relationship, be more happy than he's ever been, keep the kids together, the family together, save all the money, work together, collaborate as a team, and create an amazing ending to their story, and finish what they started and get the lessons that they were trying to get from the relationship in the first place. And instead of paying $5 million for the divorce, he paid $150,000, or even if he paid me $500,000 for my services, it was an epic deal. Even if I made him $0. If all I did was save him all of that money and that heartache and help him create what he most wanted, he's so glad he paid me that $500,000. And as long as at the end of the deal he's like, that was epic, thank you. And I'm like, gladly. I love taking your $500,000, and I love watching you kick ass and turn this around. We're both happy. This is a win-win. Exactly. So Holly's answer, right, and the cup in the desert is worth $1 million in the way you've explained it before. Yep. Any other questions, guys? Yeah, Marcia, Born Identity. Well, there's a I think Born Identity was the first movie, and then it was like Born Supremacy, and then Born Legacy, and it's like a trio. It's the Born Ultimatum. It's not like the ultra conscious movie. It's more like a army dude who beating people up and shooting shit up and all this stuff, but the little warrior in me was like, yeah. And then I was like, so how can I turn this into something that's based around serving people and being conscious and making the contribution I want to make, and still take the inspiring part of that and live by it? A great conscious movie would be The Peaceful Warrior. Love that movie. The Matrix has some great insights. There's a bunch of them. Anyway. If you want to seriously challenge and unwind some shit, watch like The History of Sex by the History Channel. It'll like freak you out. It'll rewire some serious shit. Another intense movie around that is Kinsey, Let's Talk About Sex. What Dreams May Come is a phenomenal movie for understanding kind of the mindsets of how we create our own reality. What the Bleep Do We Know? Phenomenal around quantum physics and how we shape our reality. The Secret's got its good points and some weaknesses too, but worth watching. That's a good start. There's a lot of others. Yep. What the Bleep gets into peptides and addiction really well. Okay, guys. Thanks for meeting me here. All the best to you. Go out and apply yourselves, kick ass. Remember to share your takeaways, your learnings, your breakthroughs, your inspirations, the most valuable stuff. Encourage your fellow members to watch and to interact and to contribute. Be the change. When you watch these, you know, one of the best ways you can give back to me and help that exchange is to bring more people. And referrals. Like, who do you know that would be epic? Even if you're like, I don't know, many of you are working with me. Some of you are not. Well, who do you know that would be a perfect fit for me? Whether it's on this free level or my cheap level or my medium level or my high-end level, just encourage you to think in all of your relationships, what can you give back? What can you give and receive? And so in our relationship, I give here, and then rather than saying, oh, it's all for you, I love giving, and I love receiving as well. So I open to receive and invite you to bring people. I like people. So if it's people to my free stuff, bring in my free stuff. If it's people that you're like, I know this person would totally kick ass in his paid programs, connect them with me and inspire them and give a testimonial to them, or post on my Facebook wall how grateful you are for me, and post a video about what a difference I've made, or post a comment or a topic on my Facebook wall and tag me about how much of a difference it's made for you, or encourage, you know, just think of ways that you can encourage and inspire and assist. You'll always have something to give back, even if it's a smile or a hug or a testimonial or a compliment. No matter where you're at, you have something to give, and the more you give and serve, the more you will receive. And one of the other principles that goes right along with today's topic is give what you wish to receive. If you want something, be it. So like as I continue to coach on the topics I coach on, it holds me to a higher standard. It requires that I keep expanding and growing in those areas and being committed. The second I do something stupid, say with my wife or my finances or anything, I'm like, hey, wait, I was just preaching to the legion this, and now I just did this. Nope, back on course. Like, it holds me to a higher standard. So give away what you have, and just give from where you're at, and allow the process of teaching to expand you. The best way to learn is to teach. So, you know, as a doctor, I have a doctor who's a client of mine. He's a high-end one-on-one client of mine. Phenomenal dude. But the whole model of him and them learning surgery and all their stuff, complex things, and as being a doctor is watch one, do one, teach one. So if they're doing a surgery, they watch someone else do the surgery and explain it. Then they do the surgery, then they turn around and teach the surgery. And if they do those three, now you've learned it on 3 different levels, each one progressively further. So the same with all of this. I learn and grow when I share, and you will learn and grow as you share. But the more you hang on to your talents and gifts and keep them hidden within you, the more they're festering into something that's holding you back, not lifting you up. But yes, guys, I open to receive, and I request that you, every one of you, if I don't care who you are, if you're watching this, post your learnings in the group, share authentically the breakthroughs and experiences to keep the momentum going and inspire others to do the same. Encourage them to watch the videos. Post videos and or just posts and testimonials on my Facebook wall, and invite people. Invite people. It serves all of us. Thank you, and create an amazing day.